Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here for wearechange.org. And like many of you today, when I first tried to post on Facebook, I had to log in and then log in on a separate device. Well, why did that happen? Because 50 million accounts were hacked from Facebook. And we're going to get into that and so much more, not only regarding that company, but big tech and global news, after I tell you how you can support us by looking great and buying one of our awesome t-shirts. When you go to our Teespring store and you grab a cool hoodie or a awesome ladies tee, you help support independent media and voices that are truly separate from the right-left divide that we see again and again in this country and in this political atmosphere. So yes, it was revealed today, not only did 50 million accounts get hacked, but they have no idea who did it. It has been reported to law enforcement, and they knew since September 25th. And this comes on the heels of many of us having to do two-factor authentication so that we could manage the pages that we'd worked so hard to really build an audience, myself included. And I was frustrated with this. I had not given my phone information to Facebook for this very reason that, yes, of course, it is used for ad targeting. No matter what they tell you, all of this is part of the track, trace, database society that we now live in. And in fact, 8 months ago, it was reported by the independent and other news media outlets that hundreds of your smartphone apps were indeed spying on you. And again, this is not news if you've been following this type of information. In fact, We Are Change actually did a story on this. And we pointed out that it wasn't just your smartphone or your TV. It was literally every single device that had a microphone on it that they could attach to third-party apps that would then recognize sonar tones, in other words, hear what you're saying, and activate those keywords. And although they say that they're not logging them, every single thing that goes through the digital ether has some sort of footprint. It goes through a server, folks. It's digital information. And they're aggregating that information right now in the new artificial intelligence model that Julian Assange warned us about in his last recorded video.
What Google and Baidu and Tencent and Amazon, Facebook are doing in their basically mass open cut harvesting of the knowledge of humankind as we express it when we communicate with each other, if some people do on Facebook, or uploaded YouTube videos, or deals between different companies to get hold of their data. That classical model, which people in academia have called surveillance capitalism, namely you acquire capital through surveillance. The capital is the data, and then you sell it to advertisers, basically. That's changed now. It's really a very, very interesting and important and severe economic change, which is to take the surveillance capitalism model and transform it instead into a model that doesn't yet have a name, but we call it the AI model, which is to use bait and switch techniques that Google and others have done to provide enticing services to get hold of data, and then using that vast reservoir, train artificial intelligences.
This combined with the fact that other large tech giants are now openly working with China to build censored versions of their already censored search engines are really starting to take hold of what we can see, hear, and understand. These are large outlets for propaganda. When their algorithm no longer allows a dissenting voice to be heard, It is the equivalent of mind control. And have you noticed that there has not been a big outcry that we've had ex-Google employees quitting and protesting over the fact that they are indeed working with China to create these censorship tools?
Earlier this month, The Intercept reported that Google has been working on a secret project codenamed Dragonfly. Dragonfly was a censored version of its search engine for China. And so today, the New York Times broke the news about a protest letter signed by 1,400 employees. They wanted to, quote, raise urgent moral and ethical issues, saying, currently, we do not have the information required to make ethically informed decisions about our work, our projects, and our employment. We urgently need more transparency, a seat at the table, and a commitment to clear and open processes. Google employees need to know what we're building.
And speaking of censorship, almost nobody in our media is paying attention to the fact that we have more people being killed on the Gaza border, including a 12-year-old. And why is this important? Well, earlier this week, Trump met with Netanyahu during this United Nations marathon, in my opinion, where he made it clear, and so did Netanyahu, there has never been a bigger and better working relationship between the United States and Israel, and basically they back everything they do 100%.
It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Netanyahu and Mrs. Netanyahu with us. They've been friends for a long time. We have, I would say, probably the best relationships right now with Israel that we ever had. I think we're as close now as maybe ever before.
I want to just reiterate what you just said. Mr. President, I've been here for nearly 4 decades with seeking to build the American-Israel alliance. Under your leadership, it's never been stronger.
In fact, Netanyahu just got a standing ovation today after praising Trump at the United Nations.
So I want to use this opportunity to express Israel's appreciation to President Trump and Ambassador Haley for the unwavering support they've provided Israel at the United Nations.
And of course, our media is ignoring the fact that Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas has said that Donald Trump is undermining the two-state solution and that Jerusalem is not for sale. However, we know that Trump is building an embassy there, whether they like it or not. And this is going to further ignite the situation in the Middle East. But it doesn't stop there. Netanyahu continues to call for war with Iran, and that would be extremely dangerous.
Iran used the money to fuel its vast war machine. Just this past year, Iran has attacked Kurds in Iraq, slaughtered Sunnis in Syria, armed Hezbollah in Lebanon, financed Hamas in Gaza, fired missiles into Saudi Arabia, and threatened freedom of navigation in the Straits of Hormuz and the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb.
So after the unbelievable circus that we've witnessed in the past 2 days with the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I got to tell you folks, I watched this thing. You watch people like Cory Booker grandstanding for 20 minutes. Everything was phonier than a used car salesman, especially when he walked off at the end and in the beginning talking about his admiration. Again, this was political theater at its most obnoxious. And at the very end, it was almost a soap opera-like ending with confusion, where Jeff Flake called for a 1-week investigation into these allegations by the FBI, and only postponing what they voted on, by the way, which was this will go to the regular Senate for a vote. But he wants to postpone it a week and see what the FBI can find. Now, I'm telling you right now, no matter what they agree to, even if this is a 1-week investigation, much like the truncated Anita Hill investigation that they actually referenced when requesting for this. Okay, and right now, by the way, this is all really nothing because Mitch McConnell has to okay it. It's up to Mitch McConnell and really nobody else whether this investigation actually takes place. But I assure you, if it does, well, it's not going to be a week long, and Democrats will demand with whatever they find that this investigation continue and that this vote be postponed further. Because in my opinion, with the evidence that's been presented, that's all this has really been about. As always, if you like this video, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell for notifications or you won't find these videos. I promise you that, folks. Subscribe to our backup channel, Pulse Change, and as always, be the change you want to see in the world.